Welcome to our, what is this, September already? I cannot believe how this year is going by. Here's our September transaction review calculator practice, and I'm super excited today because we've got a couple of members who have their deals that are being showcased, and it's always fun to work with other people's deals instead of just my own. And I'm really appreciative, both Dave and Buddy, tonight that will help us get somewhere with this. Usually, I start off with a little fun calculator practice just for fun, just to keep tools sharp. So this is a deal that just super simple stuff. Sometimes I forget that sometimes it's great just to have simple reminders. But a guy emailed me and he said, he's from Texas, and he says, we weren't going to sell our place, um, but somebody just wrote us an offer, and so we think it's crazy. And I don't know why people are so hot for real estate, but we think we should sell it. But he wants owner carry, but we're going to want to sell. And so this is the deal that it was $768,000 purchase, four bed, 2 bath house, 40 acres with outbuildings. And 768, they wanted to put 100 down, so $100,000 down divided by the purchase price of 768. And this is a trust that owns other properties as well. It's 13%, isn't paltry, but for this kind of asset, I'd really want more, ideally 25%, something or more. But anyway, so that's the deal. So then he says they want to give us a 660, so that leaves 668 for the loan. So that goes into present value or loan amount here. They want 5% interest. That goes into here. And they want it amortized over 25 years. So how many months is that? 25 times 12 equals 300 months. And what would the payment, future value here is 0 because it's fully amortized in this scenario. So they would have a payment just shy of $4,000 a month. How much could we sell this note for? And I said, well, with even out crunching the numbers, I said, that long of a note at 5%, you're looking, not, just ballpark half, 50%. And he goes, ouch. And I said, yeah, it would really be good if you could stick in a balloon. So that's what they did. And so we put 120 in here. That's 10 years. And then we solve for what the balloon will be. So that is a little tighter for them. And my maximum loan to value or investment to value on here would be 65% of the value of, or the sales price. Other people may have different underwriting guidelines. So that means, I wouldn't pay more than $500,000 all in, but then I have to have yield calculations. So even if I just put in 12, the most I can pay for this is $421,808 divided by the loan balance. They're looking to take, basically, maybe I could squeak it up to 65% of the principal balance. So anyway, just a way for you to get used to how to put a note in and think about it and talk about it. All right, so I'm going to click out of this right now, and we have our typical disclaimer. This is just my opinion only. You should always get your own legal and accounting advice, of course. So Buddy is an attorney and real estate investor. He also has just completed and put together a financial calculator class, and we're talking about having his material in his class a part of our members. So I really hope we come together on agreement there, because Buddy is an amazing guy, really solid, salt of the earth. He's been a client and an associate, and we still do some business back and forth on various deals. And I'm really pleased that he showed up today. Buddy, why can't you give yourself introduce yourself just a little bit?
Oh, hey, thank you. Well, thank you very much. It was very kind to say, Don. My name is Buddy Broom. I am here in Los Angeles. I am an attorney and investor. I first started hearing about creative financing stuff from my dad when I was a kid. And he would tell me stories about how, he'd buy a property and he didn't have any money, and he would just asked the person to take payments, and the people would agree to it. And I would tell my dad, I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. I would remember just like one day I was in high school, and I said, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Why would anybody do that? Why would anybody do that? And my dad looked at me, like, I don't know. He's like, and they think a little bit more. He's like, I just asked him. And then he goes, and on top of that, he said, he knew me, he knew my family, knew my reputation in the community. He said, he assumed that he'd get paid back, and he did. And so it just taught me about, seller financing, about the importance of, one, asking for what you want, and two, just to being honest, to being
the reputation equity that he had.
Your reputation really, really matters, and the way you treat people, if it's positive or negative, comes around and goes around. And then three, that you can do this business without any, if you don't have a lot of money or any money, you can still do it. But it takes work and skill and understanding of how money works. And and then since then, my wife and I started buying properties about 8 years ago. Our first one was a complete dud. And so of course from there we were fortunate enough to learn. We got introduced by a gentleman named Ellis San Jose, who started a club named Phoebe, for investors by investors, and he agreed to mentor us. And since then, he introduced us to then Gary Johnston and Clyde Wilson, who were just absolutely life-changing. And their class, Financial Freedom Principles, really taught us how to use the financial calculator. And from there, we were able to purchase our first building with we got it $250,000 over market price. So it sounds like a terrible deal, but we were able to get really, really good long-term 50-year fixed interest financing, which made it very good for us and good for the seller as well. I've been very happy with it.
I know. That is such an incredible story, because you paid substantially more than fair market value, and you still have something that cash flows. Isn't it like almost $2,000 a month that cash flows for you?
Yeah, cash flow is a decent amount a month, so it's really, really, really nice. And not 2,000. It's probably like, I don't know. We got like cash on cash returns about, like, I'd say the first deal was about like 500 a month. We were able to put down 40 down and still make it work, which is amazing. I mean, to get like a building in Los Angeles to do that, and, it wouldn't have been possible without the help from all those people like Clyde and Gary, just like held our hands through the whole thing, and just, it was really, really helpful. So it was just really great. And then from there, we just purchased another property here, called Dawn, and say, hey, Dawn, we need some help. It's just been a fun little journey. So it's been great. And then I started teaching this financial calculator class in the past year, which has been really fun as well. So I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, and people who are listening to this can expect some sort of a broadcast or blast of some sort, one way or another, I would expect in the next little while here. But this is the first time you decided, well, you were telling me, buddy, that you wanted to say, hey, I'm buying properties, but I really like this note thing. Instead of borrowing money and paying on notes, I want to buy notes and receive the payments. And then you go, why don't I just do these Lonnie deals? So maybe you could just quickly sum up that for people.
Yeah, so what happened was, prices of property right now in Los Angeles are crazy, really, really, really high. And so it's just really difficult to find properties that make sense. And so it sort of shifted my focus a little bit, where I said, hey, I better start, getting the notes and learning more about notes. And then when I started shopping around a little bit, I just realized, I said, hey, like, the yields aren't, for just starting off, to really, really get great yields, it takes a lot of digging. And and so I started hearing about, I have a couple friends that do Lonnie deals, Tim King and Andres Brito, and so I started asking around about that, and I figured, hey, like, why nobody really wants to get into mobile homes. It's just one of those areas that sort of like almost like a phobia amongst real estate investors. We're like, hey, if it's not hard land, we don't want it. And I've had the same feeling before.
Right.
So we were.